Perfect. Thank you. Welcome everyone. Today is May 23rd, 2024, Canada Day meeting. Time is 7:01. I call this meeting to order. I'll begin with the land acknowledgement first. We'll begin with, would like to begin with by respectfully acknowledging that the town of Shelburne resides within the traditional territory and ancestral land of the Anishinaabe, including the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, Chippewa, and people of the Three Fire Confederacy. This traditional territories upon which we live, work, and play and learn are steeped in rich Indigenous history and traditions. It is with this statement that we declare to honor and respect the past and present connection of Indigenous peoples with this land, its waterways and resources. I would like to begin our meeting with adopting an agenda. Can someone make a motion to adopt an agenda as circuit? Sorry, yep.
Sorry, if I can just add one item that came in today to be added under new business. That would a request from the CDRC about advertising. So if we can just add that to the end, if everyone's okay with that.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So as Alice has mentioned about amending the agenda, we'll be adding CDRC as request that is included into agenda. If anyone or if someone can make a motion to adopt the agenda as stated. Brian, seconded by Len, and all in favor? I do. Motion carried. Declaration of pecuniary interest. Members of the committee are required to state any pecuniary interest in accordance with the Municipality Conflict of Interest Act. Does anyone have any conflict of interest to declare? I am seeing none. Perfect. That leads to agenda item 4.0, approval of minutes from the meeting held April 25th, 2024. Notes are circulated within the agenda. Can someone make a motion to approve minutes as circulated? Len, seconded by Brian, all in favor? Amy. All right, that brings us to the agenda item 5.0, new businesses. Yes, Alice, go ahead.
Sorry, I just got an email from Maria, and unfortunately she has strep throat. She was going to attempt to log on, but I told her, go be sick, go take care of yourself. She's going to attempt to log on for the next meeting, so we'll just defer that item, the presentation, to the next meeting.
Perfect. Okay, so if with that said, we can tackle item 5.B, committee members update, and that is the appointment of Sarah Marianne. Alice, if you can just walk us through it in this regard, please.
Yeah, so this is just information for the committee. Cheryl has officially resigned. Sarah has officially been appointed as a member by council. So going forward, starting in this meeting, she can now be a mover and seconder and has the right to vote just like everyone else. So perfect. We're glad Sarah is officially a member now.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's great news. Welcome, Sarah. Amazing team here that you're working with. So it's good. And you're also, I see channel of email coming through it, and it's fantastic job that you've been doing so far. Awesome.
Thanks.
Sarah, if you don't mind, I don't know if Alice, would it be okay for me to ask Sarah to introduce herself, or is it okay just past that area? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she did introduce herself when she was here just visiting and being a part of things, but absolutely you can have her introduce herself formally.
Floor is yours, Sarah.
I don't know what you want me to say.
No, just who you are, what you do, and
I'm
that's
Sarah. I'm an
Mhm.
admin assistant at RLB, so I work with Amy. Yeah, it's just pretty much how I got involved with this.
Right.
Live in the community, just want to, participate, help out.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you. Welcome, Sarah. All right. Agenda item 5.C, which is 2024 budget update, and update on grant application. That's specifically coming from Alice, I guess. Alice, over to you.
So unfortunately, I don't have great news when it comes to the budget. For the first year, staff can't even determine how long, we did not receive a grant from the federal government. We have used that grant for covering the fireworks each year. And we did not get any money. So the budget just suddenly got a lot smaller. That being said, there is a request going to council on Monday night to move some funds from another area of the budget to the Canada Day Committee, because we've committed to the fireworks, we've committed to other things. They're not being, nobody sees, nobody on staff sees that council would cancel the fireworks at this point. So it's just a matter of council determining where the extra funds are going to come from. So we just wanted to make the committee aware of that unfortunate situation. On the positive side, sponsorships have been really coming in this week. I've really been trying to keep everybody updated. I know that's kind of the next item, but they do kind of tend to go together. So thank you for those of you that have reached out and gotten those sponsorships, especially this year now without the funding from the federal government, they're going to be more important than ever.
Let's just, oh yes, sorry, go ahead, Len.
Sorry, just for curiosity's sake, what are we looking at in terms of numbers, the ask to council?
So we had budgeted $4,000 to be from the grant. So it's 4,000, a little bit more, maybe short, depending on, because the quote came back in a little over 10. So it's a little, so the request of council, I believe, is for $4,900.
Okay, thank you for that update.
Alice, just a follow-up to Len's question. Like, I mean, I'd like to kind of, if it is what is the reason why grant was not approved? Is it something that is not approved for a lot of municipality or a lot of, like little small towns, or what is it that we, the reason put forward for that?
So the reason that staff were given was that there were just too many applications this year. We have seen the amount of funding decreasing over the last number of years. Other municipalities have not gotten funding. I don't know specifically about Canada Day, but other grants that are typically received each year. I know other municipalities have not gotten those either last year or this year. It's kind of, if you're getting one, you're not getting the other. So that does tend to be the new normal, unfortunately, is that these grants that we have received annually are getting smaller, and now this year, unfortunately, none.
Since we
Yes, Sarah.
since we don't have the grant, does that mean we could fundraise instead?
You can now fundraise, yes.
Typically, yes, you're right.
So buckets at the doors and donations and whatnot.
And we don't have to hide it.
Yeah.
Fine. So bad news could be good news.
Yes, Brian.
This is gonna put us pretty bad for next year, starting off with budget wise.
Absolutely.
So that'll be something that council will have to consider in the budget determination for 2025. And staff will have to remind council of that in budget deliberations, and then hopefully council will increase the budget that council provides accordingly.
Yes, Amy.
Do we know how much has already been spent?
I have rough numbers, because of the, sponsorships that have been coming in. I was looking at the numbers of what has been spent, between the commitment to the fireworks and the bouncy castle items. Those
And
are the two main ones that we've spent on at this point. Just give me 1 second here. Sorry, they gave me the wrong budget information. So, okay, so what we have spent so far is the $2,000 for the inflatables. That has already been paid. The fireworks that we have committed to are just over $11,000. And we've committed to the Matlocks and Peter Cara. So $800 for one and $1,000 for the other.
What about the commitment to face painting?
I don't think we've booked that.
We have not booked that. The
Okay.
we reached out to the artist that had given a price, and they never responded to Cheryl after when Cheryl tried to book them. And so the last meeting, the committee discussed potentially reaching out to others, and we decided to wait until we had a better idea of where we were at with the budget.
Does anyone have any other question? We're all square on that. Okay. Not so great news, definitely. We're hoping, major funding coming, at least some funding coming from that side. But yes, definitely that puts us into in a situation where we will need to, work really hard towards getting some more sponsors into that as well. With that said, 5D, agenda item 5D, which is a sponsorship and vendor update. Brian, you have a question?
Yeah, just going forward, so any of the money that we collect at the gate or from other sponsors, that's going to pay to the town, is that kind of where we're looking at now to offset what we owe them? So even if we do if we do fundraising or anything like that, that's money's going back to the town, correct?
That is correct.
All right. So sponsorship and vendor updates. Was it Sarah? Was it Sarah? You sent out an email with an Excel spreadsheet, I guess. Is that you, Sarah, or was it Amy? It was Amy.
Yeah, it was me.
Okay.
I don't, Len, did you have something that you wanted to ask about the last one? Oh, you're muted now.
Sorry, yeah, just to clarify, so the ask, so let's say hypothetically the ask to the town is going to be 5,000. I mean, you said 4,900, so let's make it even. So then we would offset with our donations whatever the town provides. So that's just to be clear on that. Is that my understanding of that? So if we make
believe so.
$6,000 in donations, then
And
we
sponsors.
pay the town back what's owed.
So anything above and beyond what is spent, council will, they can either not give us the 49 and give us 47 or 46 or
Right, right,
whatever,
right.
what the difference
Gotcha.
is, or they can say, great job, and set that aside for next year's event.
Gotcha. Okay, no problem.
Okay, so for sponsorship, so one of the ones that I reached out was Tipsy Fox, and they want to have exclusive sponsorship as being the only restaurant sponsor, and they want to give us $1,000 for that. So I wanted to kind of see what everyone thought about that. I
Question
think-
for- Sorry.
I think it's a good idea. Because there's a good chance we won't get any more restaurant sponsors anyway. It's kind of my thought. Brian?
So does that mean they're okay with different food trucks there or?
Yep.
okay, they
Yeah, I
just
made
want-
sure. Yeah, when they said that, I wasn't quite sure, so I did make sure because that would be a definite no if we couldn't have food vendors, but food vendors are
Right.
fine.
Are they going to be there like as a food vendor or anything or?
So after I sent the email to all of you, Kyle did respond back suggesting that I ask them to see if maybe they wanted to host our beer garden. So I did ask them that, but they haven't responded. So I'm assuming that they're not interested. So I've kind of run with the assumption that they wouldn't be there. They might have a vendor booth, but I don't know if they would. They haven't responded about the beer garden.
Amy, just wondering, what are their conditions on, giving us that sponsorship? What are the conditions? Exclusivity is there. What else is there? Is there
Just
anything?
that, just they want to be the only restaurant sponsor. I did clarify that it's restaurant, not food, because they initially said food. So I clarified that it was restaurant because like we do have grocery stores and stuff like that. So it's only restaurants that they would want to only be the sponsor for that.
Brian?
Are they okay with someone out of town being a sponsor? Like, for example, I think Superburger is going to give us a sponsorship.
Mm. I can ask. I mean, worst case, if we don't want to say yes, I could probably talk them into doing like 750 if we think we are going to get other food sponsors, like other restaurant sponsors. I got the impression that they want to be the only restaurant, so that would be, then we would have to say no to others.
Are like I'm okay with that, but I am just thinking a DEI perspective. Are we doing fair type of fair practice with other restaurants in town? Maybe, I don't know. Right?
Well, I think, and Len, you'll have to excuse me if I'm not correct, but I think like Len was going to see like Johnny's Pizza and stuff like that. Like if we get $250 sponsors from like Johnny's Pizza or the Duffy or Pizza or Pizza Hut or and then their $1,000 really isn't enough just to be exclusive. Saying that though, we don't have sponsorships from the other people yet, so you're a catch-22. You may get them and you may not, so I don't know.
Okay, so just in response, so I held off on approaching everybody else based on Amy's last email till we had this conversation. The other side of my feeling would be, yeah, I mean, on one hand, I agree, Brian, the potential's there, but there's the other potential is bird in the hand's worth two in the bush type of thing. I know that's an old saying, but I'm an old person, so.
Sarah, your thought on it?
It's $1,000. We don't have the other sponsorships from the other restaurants. Brian, if you were talking to Super Burger and you think that they are wanting to do something, we don't have an actual food vendor yet, so maybe like, could they just make burgers at the event instead of strictly sponsoring? The thought, but yeah, I wouldn't want to let the $1,000 go just in case we get some others and then we get none.
Kyle, your thoughts, sir?
It's a tough one. The potential for other sponsors is huge. There's an awful lot of food vendors that we could approach. $1,000 from them. So what is the level that they're looking at, or are they going above the
They're
level?
going above the levels to be like exclusive, and it's just for sponsorship, not for vendors. So we're not restricted on vendors, if any food vendors. It would just be restaurant sponsors. They would want to be the only restaurant.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then I have no issue whatsoever. As far as the other restaurants, we can approach them as vendors.
Do we want to
Um,
vote on it?
Yep,
Any?
Brian? Yeah, well, I think Amy would be a good idea, but Brian, let me hear from
I
you.
agree with Len and Kyle, like $1,000 to $1,000 that we shouldn't. But as I said, like even if I went to Super, they're not going to be a vendor because they're not going. They don't have the equipment to be cooking at the show. Is it something we can hold off for another meeting and hopefully maybe we do get some spenders like sponsors in there, or are we playing with fire on that?
Alice?
So just want to remind everyone, we have been advertising for sponsors since December. The event is in 6 weeks. We have 2 more meetings before the event. I can't tell the committee what to do. There's definitely, but there's also, the committee has lots of other focuses leading up to the event other than just continuing to try to get sponsors.
Thank you, Alice. With that said, Len, last call.
I was actually just going to suggest that we move a motion to accept the Tipsy Fox on the condition that it does not affect our vendors. Yeah, but then we say thank you.
So we can test the floor, and testing the floor is basically raising your hand from 1 to 5. If you're comfortable moving forward with the motion that Len is just basically presented to us, I mean, we can definitely test that out as well. So with show of hand, if you can share your point of view of what you think, would it be okay for us to move on to that? In other words, it's a voting. Who would like to see that and give them exclusivity to Tipsy Fox as a sponsor on that? All right, Brian? You're abstaining? Yes, you are. Okay. Record it. So with that,
I want their money, but I'm just afraid that we are going to get other people.
that is one of the things that I'm always. But again, we are moving very close to the event, so this is one of the reasons why I am actually also going into agreeing with that as well. So with that said, Ellis, do we need motion? Yes, okay. So motion in front of us is basically Tipsy Fox to be an exclusive sponsor for
Restaurant sponsor.
Restaurant sponsor for the Canada Day event. If I can have someone make a motion for that, please. Amy, second by Sarah, all in favor? I do, motion carried. Thank you, Amy. Moving on to the agenda item, is there anything else that anyone would like to share on sponsors and vendor? Yes, Alice.
So I just want to reiterate the number of sponsorships that we have received. So we do have the one from KTH. We do have one from RLB.
Is there a
We-
dollar amount to it, Alice?
So KTH is the gold sponsor. 450. RLB is a bronze sponsor. Whiteman Telecommunications is a gold sponsor. Shelburne Family Chiropractic and Wellness, silver, 350. And then Town Milk and Variety, bronze at 250.
And then the 1,000.
And then the 1,000. I wasn't counting that one because I haven't received any paperwork.
And you will reach out to them and.
So have I missed one that anyone is aware of as far as sponsorships go?
Did you receive anything from Pizza Hut?
6.
Also, the new place that opened, but there'll be vendor application. They'll be submitting vendor application. I'm not sure if they know. Okay. Brian?
I have 2 more sponsors. I just haven't got into the Alice.
I'm in the office tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not in the, I'm on the road, and I possibly have Trillium
If-
Ford maybe putting his
Ryan,
membership,
if you have the information, you can just put it in the Dropbox when convenient for you.
even with the check.
Yeah, just put it in an envelope with my name on it and just put it in the
Okay.
Dropbox.
I did have a question about one of the people I was supposed to go see. I don't know. It's a spa. I don't know where it is. I Googled it and I can't find it. It was
See
on
that
the
it's
list.
closed. I started off with the list that Alice gave me, and then I did stuff
Okay.
from the town's website. I tried to take ones off if I knew that it was closed, but if you don't know the name, then just skip it, 'cause
Okay.
maybe it's one that's closed.
Alice, did you receive anything from Rice Physio? No. Okay. All right. Yes, Brian.
Do we have any like actual vendors coming, like actually
That's
coming to the show?
So
That's
that was my
it.
next part. I was waiting to finish with the sponsors. If you're ready, I can talk vendors.
Yes. Or do you
Okay.
go?
So we have 2 confirmed vendors. One is All Dolled Up. It's personalized and customized home decor. And that one came in actually because of the Sweetheart Special that the committee advertised back in February already. And then this week we got Blitzful Treats. That one has come in. So those are the 2 that we have.
Alice, we can't hear you.
Oh.
All right, please, hi.
Can you hear me now?
No.
While we're waiting on Alice, does anyone have a problem with a memorial company being a vendor?
No, no.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, my internet is giving me issues tonight. Okay, so we have the 2 vendors. Blitzful Treats has also confirmed. Then I've also, we were going to have the MVCA. They would like to be a vendor. Kyle, can you just clarify, were they looking for the booth to be sponsored or donated by somebody?
I was the one actually who approached the NVCA to be at the event, and I was going to approach the committee and see if we could donate the booth for them. NVCA, obviously, there are our CA, what is it? Conservation Authority. So they are the ones that control our waterways and everything else. The thing, especially for this area, most people don't realize that the NVCA is our CA. They think that CBC down in Orangeville is our CA. So having the education portion where they can interact with the people of Shelburne and kids and everything else, I thought it'd be a great opportunity, not only for advertising for them, but it's certainly a great thing that we can bring in to the event itself.
And she is going to try to attend the next meeting, Kyle. She just got strep throat and was unable to attend last minute. So, so she will come and share that. I did get confirmation from KTH that they are willing to donate their booth. They did not require a booth, but their sponsorship level did allow them a booth. So they said we could donate it. And my suggestion would be that whoever we donate it to have a sign up saying booth donated by sponsor
For sure.
so-and-so.
Yeah.
The other vendor that I've heard, but I don't have any information for, Museum of Dufferin. Kyle, is that the same thing where they would be looking for the booth to be donated, or are they paying for, because I got insurance paperwork, but I don't have vendor paperwork.
That one, I'm not sure that they were looking to set up as a booth, as a vendors. They were looking to do they were going to do pins where the kids could come up, like sort of an event. She just wanted to have a spot where they could do, where the kids can create their own pins and stuff like that. So I guess it's kind of a vendor booth. Maybe we need to go back to her and just say, okay, are you looking to be a vendor, or if we need to have that sponsored?
Yeah, because we really should, regardless of if somebody's doing an activity or whatever they're doing, it should fall under a sponsorship category and the vendor booth under the sponsorship category, or a vendor. And a vendor doesn't have to be something for sale. A vendor can be an activity, but you know,
Sure.
yeah. And then the other one that I was looking for information on, if somebody had it, was Compass.
Glenn?
I can speak to Compass. I just got word that they've ordered 500 glow sticks, and they will be just there promoting their summer camp programs. So yes, so Compass is on the list. The DEI committee would like to set up a small booth as well. Okay,
So-
do they need to do the paperwork for that?
Yeah, so we can track it, right? So
Yeah.
if Compass needs a booth donated, same thing, I can, or the museum, I can reach out to other sponsors that have indicated that they don't need the booth, and ask if it's okay if we donate the booth, but if they're coming, I need to know. So because we need to know for insurance purposes, so
Okay, yeah.
even if it's just an activity, we want the paperwork filled out, so we have the information for insurance purposes, please.
Right. Compass, I sent the paperwork in to you, Mark Greenfield. Did you get that paperwork? Okay. I sent it into you, gosh, a week ago Friday. I'll
Okay.
double check. Okay, so I will follow up on that. I'll follow up on the DEI committee. So yeah, that Compass booth was already donated by Mike Greenfield, the guy's doing the flooring,
Oh, the
the staging.
stage, right.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
okay.
So that was, so I'll double
Yeah.
check and I'll resend those 2 documents to
Okay,
you. Have we heard from the OPP? Have we heard from fire department as of late?
no, they are on my list to reach out to.
Okay.
They fall in their own category of,
Oh, okay.
Having said that, I believe I did send an email to Alice regarding a yoga class, basically. I haven't heard back from Lindsay yet, but she would like to, she'd like to have a space at the Canada event, so she could basically teach the visitors about the benefit of yoga and so on, and maybe a couple of exercises they wanted to do there. So that is still in progress. Just wanted to give you that update from my end. Yes, Lynn. Kyle, sorry.
Alice, can you do me a favor and possibly send out the vendor forms one more time? I've got a couple of people that are interested in filling out and being vendors, but we just need to get that forms. They're saying they haven't seen it on Facebook yet. So if we can get the forms, I'll send it directly.
Brian?
not to be stick in the mud or whatever. Um, the thing about giving all these vendors free vendorship, I have no problem with, because the more people there, obviously, the better the show becomes. But as long as they're not profiting somehow off it, so meaning like, um, if someone has a dog training academy or something like that, and they want free just to put on a show, well, they're going to get maybe business out of it. So I don't think they should be getting it.
We haven't had any requests like that.
I'm-
All the ones that we're talking about donating are nonprofits.
Okay.
Glenn and Sarah, I think I saw your hand up as well, but I
Yeah.
don't.
Okay, sorry, Alice, just to confirm, oh gosh, Friday the 20th, would be Jim, May 17. I sent an email. I will just resend that now, okay?
Thank you.
No problem.
Perfect. Anyone else that's to declare anything or any updates? Yeah, Alice?
Sorry, we do have one other update for vendors. Sarah had been communicating with Legacy VR Verse about having a vendor booth. Sarah, did you want to bring that one forward?
Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Alice. I actually forgot about that. So I don't know how many of you know, but Legacy VR Verse, is that what it's called? I don't know. They are a virtual reality arcade that's opening up downtown. They want to participate. They would basically set up a few stations where people could sign up and go and do like a virtual reality game for about 15 minutes each. They'll have both a list of like you can sign up for a certain time as well as a first come, first serve. So if they have empty spots and you show up, you can walk right in. I'm wondering, since they do want to offer that activity, and I think the activity would be a huge draw, do we want to do like a sponsorship in kind type thing for them, or just say no to that? And if they want to participate, they have to pay for the sponsor
Or they could just be a vendor.
or a vendor. Yeah, either or. But
And
Kyle? Yeah.
sorry, if I could just add one thing to that, they will require electricity.
Yeah.
And my concern as staff is the amount of electricity that we're already needing. I still think we might need to look into some generators for the bouncy castles, just to ensure that we have the right power. So if we run the bouncy castles off of generators, which we would then have to source generators, then there's more electricity. But if we're running the bouncy castles off of the park's electricity, I'm concerned there's not going to be enough for other activities.
Kyle and then Amy.
So just going with what Brian was saying, unfortunately, I think these guys are going to be profiting from this. I love the idea of having it there. I think it's going to be a big draw, but I still think that we should have them pay for vendor sponsorship or vendor space.
Amy and then Brian.
So I know when we were talking about this before, Sarah, that they do this, they want to do this as a kind of event package where they do go to events, either events or like people's houses. Was that something that we talked about?
Yeah, they do have a mobile option. I'm sorry, I was just trying to find their email and now I think the last email from them and I can't now.
So I just wonder if they have an option where they can bring their own generator, like their own power.
They did say that they would need power. That's the email I'm trying to find. When I find it again, I can forward it on so you guys can see. It wasn't crazy power. I think it was just regular, but
Is it in Everton is the owner for that, or who is the I think
no.
Everton and Amy, I guess, or
Vienna.
Aviana. So Anna and Everton, actually, that's what it. Anyway, let's. And Brian,
So again, I'm going back on what I was saying earlier. That if they're profiting, they should be paying, but saying that, we're also letting Go a Crow provide the same type of thing where they're profiting too as well. So if they're bringing an attraction for us, I guess theoretically we should be donating the booth because as long as they're not charging people for money. Because we are giving it Crow to
And
be able to do that, right? So
Yeah,
that's
and
my opinion.
I did ask how much it would normally be, for 30 minutes. Amy, do you remember what I said it was for 30 minutes?
I wanna say 45 per person, like it wasn't a
40
helpful
or
quote because it was
It
per
was-
person, but
It was $30 for half an hour, 45 for a full hour, 45 for escape rooms and laser tag.
So if you assume like 15 minutes instead of a half hour, what'd you say it was?
It was $30 for a half hour.
So $15 per person per game that they'd basically be donating of their time because they're not planning on charging
Yeah.
for thousands of people that end up doing it.
Amy and Brian.
I was just gonna say, I kind of feel like it's kind of like an in-kind sponsorship, similar to Go with the Crow, because they could charge us for it, because they do go to, like, they're planning on going to events and stuff. So they could have just charged us for it, but if they're saying they're going for free, it's kind of like an in-kind sponsorship. But I think they also need internet. Was that another thing that they needed?
I think they asked about Wi-Fi.
Because that could be a problem.
We can't be supplying internet and we shouldn't be supplying a generator either. If they're gonna do this on the road, they need to have that equipment anyways. Like, I DJ'd for many years. I have generators to do outdoor functions, so it's things that they should be supplying or not us. So in my opinion, I'm okay with them getting a booth, donate it to them, but we're not supplying any of the stuff that they need. Just because I feel it is like Go a Crow. I do have a funeral home that would maybe like to put a booth up, which I do agree that they need to pay. Because they're looking for future business.
So with that said, I think let's just test the floor and decide. First of all, we wanted them as an in-kind sponsor. Are we all okay with that? If that's the case, that's the only condition that we kind of follow. The rest, we ask them to manage themselves, just like generator or Wi-Fi or any of those area, they'll have to manage on them. If we do it in kind. Are we all agreeing with that?
Do we have to pick a level?
As long as they know they have to provide the insurance too, so.
That is correct. What kind? Yes, Alice.
So just before the committee decides what level of venue, they did indicate in the email as well, that they would need two vendor spaces, as their normal stations are 7 by 7. So they're saying they would need at least 2 spaces.
Right.
You can give them more, but
So what do we feel? Yes, Brian.
What are we giving Crow for spaces? Was they giving them 3 spaces?
we
Yeah.
gave them the platinum level, but knowing that the bubble soccer is going to take up more than a vendor space.
I don't think space is going to be a problem for us, so. Maybe if we give them a good thing, maybe they'll donate some money back or something somewhere along the line.
So what are we feeling? Are we feeling platinum for them as well? Are we feeling gold?
I would suggest just do it as an in-kind. I mean, what are we advertising for it? Go with Crow, or we are advertising Go with Crow?
Yeah, we have to pick a level.
Okay, so I would suggest whatever we've got for Go with Crow, that's the same level we do for them.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
So can
Uh,
I have that as a formal resolution, please?
Yes, we'll definitely make that. I just want to test the floor if everyone is okay with going with the same platinum on that. Perfect. All right, sounds good. So motion would read, you'll have to help me, Sarah, with the name of the organization or company.
It is Legacy VR Verse.
Okay, Legacy VR
Verse.
Verse.
Yeah.
It's virtual, so yeah, of course.
Just rolls off the
so-
tongue.
Yeah. The motion would read to approve Legacy VR roles as our platinum sponsor. Is that correct, Alice? Would it? Yeah, okay. And can someone make a motion for that, please?
Should we include in the should we include in the motion that they are to provide
Perfect.
their own
Perfect, yes, thank you,
and
thank you
power?
for that reminder. So, yeah, the motion would read to approve the Legacy VR roles as a platinum sponsor, considering they'll bring their own generator and Wi-Fi and all of the other equipment that needed them to settle the booth there. Alice, go ahead.
I'm just hesitant with the electricity because we haven't required anybody else to provide their own electricity.
I think.
And they need that to be able to do this. So if they can't provide electricity, are they gonna fall off?
Do we have enough
We're not providing anyone else with electricity other than the bouncy castles, and that's something that we
No,
booked as a.
No, we have had other vendors request electricity.
Oh, okay.
And we have provided electricity to vendors last year.
Okay. Are we
Yeah.
talking like blissful treats and stuff?
base picture shirts? I think last year, yes.
Mhm.
Len?
Sorry, just to clarify, so the town would be providing, Public Works would be providing some outlets for them. Is that correct, Alice? Okay, I mean, we can't provide extension cords and stuff like that, but if the plugs are hot, I mean, if the plugs are active, right, for the events, then, and they can find their electricity there, that's fine. I mean, I know we discussed generators for the bouncy castles. Yeah, okay.
Brian, you have something to add on it?
I have a generator that I could bring that if someone needs it, but I prefer not to use it, but
Yeah,
If-
I have one too.
if it's a problem, we'll supply it.
And I know that staff indicated that when I spoke with Jamie, she was pretty certain we had 2. So
Would it
What's
be,
the service? How much is the service out there at the park? Does anyone know, or because it was meant for a trailer hookup too, right?
mhm.
So there
So
should be
there-
lots of power.
There's lots. I'm just not certain that the power that's there is sufficient for the bouncy castles. That's what we're waiting for confirmation from the bouncy castle company is a standard electric sufficient for those.
I would
Okay,
think service would be fine, but
Yeah, I can respond to that if I may for a second. The same company we have did the McHappy Day, and they had one bouncy castle, and it was run off one 15 amp service, so one plug. So I don't think it's just it's a blower.
like Lens go pull more power than they are with the band
Yeah.
stuff. So
Okay, Yeah, the VR thing, their power, it's just to charge laptops and headsets. It's not a huge strain.
Okay.
At least, do we need any sort of a confirmation about the electricity first prior to, if that's the case, we can hold on to this, or?
I think
Um,
we'll be okay. I think there is lots because it was set up for camping. So there is lots of electricity there. We'll just have to be cognizant of who needs electricity when doing the layout of what events are where.
So we can continue with the motion then, I guess, not including electricity, but not providing Wi-Fi, basically. So yeah, the motion would read to approve Legacy VR role as platinum sponsor, in-kind sponsorship, informing they will have their own internet services or Wi-Fi services. If someone can make a motion to adopt that, Brian and Kyle, all in favor? I do, motion carried. Anything else that anyone has?
I do have one other sponsorship vendor update, but it kind of goes with the next request for under entertainment and activities update.
Yeah, so
So if I can just combine them in one.
yeah, go ahead, actually.
Okay, so Go With Crow reached out and asked if it would be all right if they did a draw for a bicycle or a gift card in advertising on a flyer. Going into the schools and stuff, similar to what was done last year when they were together with Ken Bennington. I know there had been conversation with Ken Bennington by some committee members about doing a bike draw, but no paperwork was received. So reached out to Ken and asked, hey, like, are you doing a sponsor? Are you doing a vendor? What would you like to do? And the email directed back to the committee and myself basically indicated that the donation of the bike was his sponsorship, and that he was not happy that I asked for sponsorship paperwork and if he was going to be a sponsor. So I don't know how the committee would like to proceed. I have not responded to his email. I can read the email if you want to, but I don't think that's necessary. It wasn't the most polite email. Kyle also got copied on it. So Kyle, feel free to interrupt me at any point. So
if you'd like me to interrupt, sure, let's interrupt. His response was less than parliamentary, let's put it that way. So based on his response, he was offended that we would even ask for him to support the event other than the bike. To me, it was he wanted free advertising because he was donating a bike. If Go With Crow is interested in taking that space, in my eyes, I'm quite okay with giving them that opportunity, personally.
What do the rest of the member feel? Glenn, your thought?
Well, I was just wondering if there's any, if there's an opportunity for us to all have a look at that email, or do you think it's necessary, Alice?
Well,
I think the tone of it was very much what you guys both had.
We could forward it, Len. I'm happy to do it.
Might not be worth the read at the end of the day.
It's probably not worth the read, to be honest with you. It doesn't make sense to have other people offended. Is the only reason why I'm hesitant on doing so.
Right. Okay. Well, let's. I would support a motion to allow Go With Crow to take up the slack on that one. I mean, and just leave it at that.
What do you feel, Amy and then Brian, and then Sarah. Amy, over to you.
Want me to go first or?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, Amy's on now.
Yeah, Brian can go first. I'm not
ahead.
too sure yet.
So without knowing what the email says and all that stuff, which I do not know, I'm the one that reached out to him and asked him if he was still doing the donation of the bike, and he informed me yes. From there, I don't know what's taken place from there on. The only thing I know both parties, both real estate companies, so I'm mutual on both of them, but Ken has donated the bike for quite a few years. I think 4, if I'm correct in that. I'm a bad one for taking emails the wrong way, so as I said, I don't know what it says in it, but that's just my opinion. Is I think maybe we just need to reach out and say whatever we have to say about it, but I hate to burn a bridge just in case next year we lose the other one. So that's the only thing. But again, I don't know what the email says, so if it was not polite and stuff like that, I think that's something that should be addressed too at the same time. So that's all I have to say.
Well, again, I mean, like I said, we can certainly forward the email to the committee. The only reason I was hesitant was because, like I said, it's, like you said, not very polite.
Amy, over to you.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel kind of the same way as Brian is I don't really want to burn a bridge, but at the same time, if he's not, if he's being impolite to staff members and not easy to work with, and yeah, I'm not sure.
Sarah?
I'm not a big fan of people being impolite for no reason, so like we can all be civil, we're all adults, right? Like there's no, and if 2 of you are saying that the email was rude, I can take your word for that. Yeah.
I echo similar what Sarah's thoughts are. Basically, I respect Kyle and Alice's, sense from that email. As Len said it, let's move on, I guess. So I'm happy to move on with go with Crow on that sponsoring that bike and flyers and all of those area, good stuff. But I was just sensing it. So who just testing the floor? Are we all kind of in agreement, or who in agreement to go with Crow for the bike? Yeah, and all us. Perfect. Alice, you don't need motion on this. You would reach out to them, I guess. Brian, you have question, follow-up?
Yeah, just so everyone they're gonna know, we can't put the flyers for the school like we used to. You had to get approval from the Upper Grand District School Board, I guess it is, and we won't have approval by the time that we have to have the flyers out. So that's kind of it's. So if they're wanting that, that's not going to happen.
They're also prepared to do a draw at their booth if we couldn't get the flyer out, but we will advertise on our advertising information that they are going to be doing a draw. Staff have attempted to reach out to the school board already to get approval. We have been working on that. We have not received it yet, but it is, we're not giving up on that, but we have started the process to get that approval to hand out flyers in the school. But knowing that it was difficult last year, if we can't get that information, we will at least advertise for Go with Crow that they will be doing a draw.
Okay. I still have no problem making the flyers. It's just I just got real big slack last year going to the schools, so. And they want to see a proof and everything signed off, so, which I don't think we've made a proof yet, have we?
I've got a good percentage of one. I needed this information.
Good. Thanks, Alice. You don't need motion for that, Alice. You'd reach out to them and let them know, am I correct?
That's fine.
Perfect, good stuff. So if there is no other entertainment activity updates, then I'd like to move on agenda 5F, which is a sub-working group for beer garden update. Over to you, Kyle and Amy, I guess.
Okay, well, that's as the email that I sent out a little while ago, the Canucks unfortunately won't have enough volunteers to operate our beer garden. I believe, Sarah, you responded with a couple of other potential opportunities, and you said you were going to reach out. I'm not sure if you had an opportunity to or heard back.
I reached out, I have not heard back. To all of the ones I said.
Sorry, Amy, go ahead.
I was just gonna, so Kyle, you weren't here when I mentioned, but I did ask Tipsy Fox if they could run our beer garden. But they haven't responded, so I'm assuming it's a no. Or they're just thinking about it, but I haven't heard yet.
Brian, you have a question, follow-up?
Well, funny conversation I had last night. Someone did approach me about doing beer gardens for us. I just don't know how, first of all, I don't know if we have enough time to get liquor license. Second of all, I don't know how it has to all work. Is there a private individual that would donate the money back to Canada Day? But I don't know how that all has to work within the town and with the liquor license, because usually it has to be for some type of a charity, if I'm not correct on the liquor license.
Yeah,
But they did-
it would have to get approval from council. And the next council meeting, like there's one on Monday, but it's too late to bring it to Monday's meeting. And then the next one after that is June 3rd. And then the next one that is June 27th. So at this point, and without having the approval from council and without having somebody confirmed, I don't think that our insurance would allow it to be a private individual either. Unfortunately. So I think that, learning experience for this for next year, I would unfortunately say I think it's time that the beer garden get paused for this year and reconsidered for the future, because there's been a shift in council schedule for June as well. So we just don't have the time to get the permissions that we need anymore.
Yes, Brian?
Can we, and I know this is extra work, Alice, but it doesn't have to be before Canada Day. Can we still find out though, if an individual can run a beer gardens with the donations going back to Canada Day? Just for next year, so we can say, yes, you can go ahead with that, or no, you cannot. Is there a way to find that out?
I will ask senior management tomorrow. And I'll email if I get an answer from them, or if I have to go through insurance or I'll keep the committee informed as to that answer.
Okay.
To Alice's suggestion, what do you guys think of tabling beer garden this year? Brian is, I think, fetching water, I guess. Brian, the question on the floor was about tabling the beer garden this year from the agenda moving forward.
Yeah, I heard you there. I think it's too late now to even, like, we're gonna be, next week is June I think you have to have, I think 60 days to get a liquor license, I think. So like, that's putting it pretty close for anyone, just be able to put staff together and buy alcohol and all that stuff, so. And then we still have to get approval from the town, and it's just too, I think we call it for this year, and hopefully next year we can maybe do something.
Perfect. Alice, do we need any sort of an, nothing? Okay. All right. Did I miss anyone, Len? Did I miss you for anything? No, you're good on that. Okay, perfect. And Sarah is good too there. If that's the case, is there anyone else? I think Alice had mentioned something in the beginning of the meeting, and I'd like to go back to that agenda item that amended. Alice, over to you. To
Thank
present.
you. So I received an email this morning from the Kim Fraser, the Facility Administration Manager from the CDRC. And she is requesting that the CDRC's free swim event be included in the Canada Day advertising. She apologized for the late request. For 20 years, a free family swim on Canada Day has been provided from 1 until 3 o'clock p.m. It is sponsored by a local community partner, though they haven't finalized who the sponsor is yet. So they also will participate in distribution and display of any advertising that we create, including on the Owen Sound Street road sign, digital media, and within the facility. So if we include their free swim on our advertising, they will advertise all of our events as well.
We've always done so in the past, so personally, if it's a motion that needs put on, I'll put that motion forward saying, yes, absolutely, let's do it.
Perfect. I'll do it as well. Len and Sarah and Amy. Brian, yours. Perfect. All good. Sarah, you need a motion? Sorry, Alice, you need a motion.
Yes, I need a motion. Kyle
sorry.
moved the motion. I need somebody to second the motion.
If you can help me form a motion first.
Just that the request from the CDRC to have the free swim event be included in the Canada Day advertising.
Perfect. Can I have someone make a motion?
So Kyle made that motion, and then
Kyle and then Brian, all in favor? We all do.
thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Alice, anything else pressing? Anything you have it fright burning? Anything?
No, I'm going to continue to work this week, well, tomorrow and next week, to see if I can get any more information from the schools about the flyers. I will follow up with Go With Crow. I will be following up with the fire department and the OPP. I'm hoping that Jamie will attend next week, not next week, the next meeting. So we can start to work on the layout of the event. And yes, if you can still please push vendors, because you know it would be great to have more vendors with things actually for sale, so we don't have just, you know, more food trucks would be great. I'm sure Blitzful Treats would appreciate not being the only one.
Right.
So yes, more vendors, and yeah, that's what I have at this point. So thank you.
Alice,
Perfect.
please remember just to send me that vendor form again if you could.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amy?
What day is the next meeting?
6th, June 6th,
No, it would be June 13th.
June 13th.
Oh, okay, I do have it in my calendar.
Yeah,
I know a while ago we talked about, are we gonna have a meeting, one of the next two, I guess, at the park to kind of figure out layout? Is that still something we're gonna do?
So that would be in addition to the regularly two scheduled meetings. We would have to try to find, so we'll send out, it won't be a formal Canada Day committee meeting. So hopefully we'll get some of that worked out with Jamie when she comes to the next one, and then we can do an on-site meeting to lay it out with staff. But that will probably have to happen, that will have to happen during a weekday, during working hours, because that's when the staff are available to do that.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you. any other question, any agenda item, Brian?
Um, and this is just a suggestion. Is there any, can we move the location of where the fireworks have been in the past? Like to the other side? I don't know if that's, I was looking at the park the other day. I walked around the park and I was thinking that maybe if we put the fireworks in a different location, we would free up some of the parking issues that we had. And maybe the flow of traffic in and out. I don't know if that's something that can happen, or is that something that has to go through the fire department? And Kyle, I know you're the one that can answer this, so go ahead.
Every single time that we've had any fireworks display company come in, they've always taken a look at the park and they've always said that that corner is the only place that they can fire from. If we shift it to the other side, they're too close to the subdivision as well as the forest. That's right there. Fire department also says no, that back corner is the only place that we can fire from.
Brian, any follow-up?
Sorry.
No,
Yeah, I was going to say
no, it's just
I was going to say not only that, the only other thing is that if everybody's underneath the pavilion, firing them off from the other corner, everybody's going to have to move out from underneath the pavilion to see it.
Absolutely.
I was just trying to figure out a way to use both entrances, like one as an entrance, one as an exit, for the cars coming in and out. Because last year was just disastrous, and then the police wanted us out there to control traffic. Well, I'm not going to stand out there with nothing visible on or anything like that. So I was just trying to look at ways to control the flow.
So you would want to have both exits for the end of the night? Is that what you're looking at?
No, I want that, so where the pump station is, having that strictly as the entrance, and people parking kind of behind the pavilion there, where like the dog park along that area for the fireworks.
And that's probably not gonna work.
Oh, well, that's what, and then because they could use that middle driveway to come around to the other side as the exit.
Yeah. Again, the biggest issue that we have having that gate open is people driving through with crowds of people. And it doesn't matter, and you've seen it yourself. It doesn't matter how we try to block that off, they don't listen.
No. Yeah, the other thing is there something that we can put on a notice for the dog park and the garden that, you know, that they have to go to the other side? Because they were the ones that were very upset last year that we had that gate blocked off.
It's
That
a
happened.
whole 30 more meters to drive. I mean, sorry.
That happened once a year only, so.
Well, no, the problem is they didn't want to park over in the parking area if they were carrying water and stuff like that to their gardens. And
Well, I mean, as far as going up to the dog park during the day is not a problem, as long as I'm not staying there for fireworks. The only thing we got to let them know is that when the fireworks are going off, it's their responsibility if their cars are there and it gets hit with fireworks.
the firework company, they'll have that road blocked off all during the day though.
Yes, they do.
Well, do they have the middle road blocked off? I think
No, they didn't, but we had people out there last year out that far. Like there was picnics going on and there was,
Right.
so they're theoretically driving through people still.
True. Well, I mean, and maybe Alice, you can help me on this one. Can we get staff maybe to rope off that top section completely?
So that's one of the things that Jamie is aware of was an issue last year. That's one of the reasons we wanted to have a meeting closer to the event when we had a better idea of how many sponsors and vendors and what layout was needed, so we could determine if areas needed to be blocked off differently.
All right, and Len, over to you.
I just wanted to quickly say, I don't see a problem with, I mean, not allowing parking in the park area at all. If, you know, the consequences, the potential to have someone being hit. You know, we've had conversations about parking, overflow parking at KTH before. We've had conversations about parking at No Frills parking lot, and walking down. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe that's something we explore when we have the meeting with Jamie.
Thank you, Vlad. Anything else? Alice, you have anything else? So we'll bring all of those points with Jamie. Maybe you may wanna make aware Jamie about all of this discussion happened today about it, and then maybe that way she's better prepared answering those questions when it.
Jamie has been very good about watching
100%.
the recordings even when not here, and she and I are talking regularly. So yes, she will be informed.
100%. Super, super fantastic. All right, if there is nothing on an agenda to discuss further, I would like to adjourn the meeting. So if I can have someone make a motion to adjourn the meeting, that would be Kyle and Amy, and all in favor. Will do. Perfect. Thank you very much. And as Alice said it, and as we all know, now we'll have to work double to make up for the grant that we didn't get an approval for. So reach out. Alice, we'll look forward for your email as Kyle has requested for the sponsorship forms and all of those areas. So we'll look forward for that. We do have that. I do have that at least. Been printing that and sending it out as well. So yeah. Perfect. Until then, we'll see you in 2 weeks then, or 3 weeks.